What's up everyone, OJ here, and as one of the biggest Wonderful 101 fans out there that quite possibly did the best review on the internet of the Wonderful 101 back when it launched on the Wii U in 2013, I'm extremely excited to talk about this piece of news that we got, that the Wonderful 101 could be heading to the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and even the Xbox One via Kickstarter crowdfunding. Now, there was a recent report from GameXplain where they talked about different sources that put out information to them that there will be a Wonderful 101 Kickstarter for the PlayStation 4 and also the Nintendo Switch. Now, there was some information even on like 4chan that somebody put out there that it's going to be coming to the Xbox One as well, but it does seem like it was confirmed to GameXplain that it's coming to at least the PlayStation 4 and the Nintendo Switch via Kickstarter. Now, there was some teases from Hideki Kamiya just a little bit ago, right? There was the 101 and the Nintendo Switch with him smiling in the office, so obviously that meant something. And I have all sorts of emotions running when it comes to this game because, once again, I absolutely love the Wonderful 101. It was a Wii U title that launched pretty much in a horrible environment for the game. It was already going to be a PlatinumGames title, and obviously those games don't sell as much as I think they deserve to sell, but it was also on a system that was a commercial flop for the most part, and sales at the time were not going well. I remember at one point, I think it was from like January to March, Nintendo sold like 200,000 Wii U's in that time period. Now, put into perspective, Nintendo can sell up to like 10 million Wii U's, I think 11 million Wii U's in a 3-month time period from like October to December. And from January to March, they're gonna sell a lot more than what they did with the Wii U in that same time period. So think about that for a second, guys. The Wii U was just in such a pitiful state. So the Wonderful 101 did not get a nice and clear and good launch environment. And I've always talked about that before when it comes to games. In order for your game to be successful, you're gonna have to have a good launch environment. If you don't have a good launch environment, if you don't have a system that's doing well, and if you don't have hype behind like what's going on with the games and everything, it's gonna be tough to sell your game, especially a PlatinumGames title. Which is exactly the reason why games like Astral Chain sold so much better on the Nintendo Switch and sold so much faster than what we've seen before. Good launch environment, good hype, good momentum, good positive vibes with the system equals sales. Now, this one is a little bit different. It's going to be hard to compare the two, right? Because if you look at it, this is crowd-source funding. You know, that's just crazy. Kickstarter, right? You don't really see bigger publishers or developers using Kickstarter in order to get games that we've already got on a previous system funded again. I mean, this just seems weird. It's like, okay, why doesn't Nintendo just do this? Well, it seems like Nintendo doesn't feel like there's going to be much of a market for this game. Otherwise, this probably wouldn't be happening at all. Nintendo would just fund the game and put it on there. But it was interesting. They funded Tokyo Mirage Sessions on the Nintendo Switch, but not the Wonderful 101. So maybe overall sales of Tokyo Mirage Sessions ended up being better than the Wonderful 101. So they felt that was probably a better niche investment from the Wii U over to Nintendo Switch. Or maybe they worked with PlatinumGames in order to get this done. Maybe they wanted it on more systems and said, hey, you know what? This could be better for the IP overall, just in general, if it was out on more than just a Nintendo platform. And you guys have our blessing to do that. Which brings up another question. What's up with the IP with this game? Like, what's going on with it? Is it owned by Nintendo? Is it owned by Platinum? How come it's going to be on PlayStation 4? Well, here's my explanation, I think at least, is that Nintendo and PlatinumGames both have stake in it, and Nintendo allowed them to use the IP in order to do this Kickstarter if everything turns out to be true here. But it seems like it is, since it's a report from GameXplain, and there's multiple sources that are credible that have backed this report. So it seems like Nintendo allowed them to use it, or they licensed it from Nintendo, so paid them some money and they said, hey, you can use it for a Kickstarter. No harm, no foul. It's Kickstarter, right? And this is not a huge altering type of game that can really take people away from one platform and put it on another when it comes to Nintendo. So they probably just said, hey, skip it. You guys can do whatever you want. Knock yourselves out with it. But once again, this is fantastic. I think this is really good. I've talked about this before, especially in the Wii U era. A lot of these developers don't believe that the Wii U could put up sales numbers, right, for third-party games. So give us an opportunity to prove ourselves so at least we can buy the game, right? I mean, obviously that's not a good thing. It's not a good look PR-wise with that, but if that's the only option for somebody to be able to play a game, especially games that are long lost or games that people want to play on modern systems, heck, go for it. I'd rather have them do this than not do it at all. But that brings up another question. How's this game going to do on Kickstarter? How much money are they going to be having for the game? What's going to be the goal for everything? Like, what's going to happen? Are PlayStation 4 owners going to want to back this? Are Switch owners going to want to back this? Are Xbox One owners, if it comes to Xbox, going to want to back this? And my answer to that is, well, let's break it down a little bit. Most of the time when we hear about ports, I know on the Wii U, it was like, hey, it costs about $1 million to port a game from other systems to the Wii U. So maybe they're asking for a minimum of $1 million for this, because this would be PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, and potentially even Xbox One PC or something else like that. But we know for sure PlayStation 4 and also the Nintendo Switch. So $1 million for this on Kickstarter? It's really going to depend. Will they get $1 million? I think they would. I think there would be at least enough backers that would do this. And this game has crazy, insane fans, like hardcore fans that'll probably drop like $1,000 on a Kickstarter if there's good enough rewards. Just think about it. Imagine all the cool stuff that they could offer for Kickstarter backers. That's the one cool thing about Kickstarter stuff. You can get really cool exclusive stuff. So what if they offer like really high quality masks, like this one right here that I used in my original review of the Wonderful 101 back in 2013? What if they offer stuff like this for Kickstarter backers? I know I'd pay a little bit more cash to get some cool stuff from them. So I think it can be a very successful Kickstarter if they have some cool stuff tied to it, not just, oh, here's the game. What if you're a really high Kickstarter backer, they actually put you as one of the heroes in the game, one of the wonderful ones in the game? That'd be cool. So there's all sorts of stuff they can do with this. PlatinumGames always has a really cool sense of style and all of that. So I think that this Kickstarter, whenever it does go live, because it does seem like there's going to be an announcement very soon here with this, guys, possibly on Monday that we're going to get an announcement for the Wonderful 101 Kickstarter. I think that this could be very successful. It just really depends on what they go with the goals, what they're going to do with the Kickstarter backer tiers, and all of that. But I know that I'm down for it because the Wonderful 101 is easily one of my favorite games. And you know another cool thing about the Wonderful 101, which I know that they'd probably have some style with it? Look at this disc case right over here. Look at that. Is that not awesome? Let me just pull this out. This is really cool. That was one of the things that I originally loved about the game. It just looks so cool with that. So I think that they can do some really cool art. I think they have a lot of behind the scenes stuff that they could offer. I mean, it's one of those things, to me at least, that PlatinumGames has deserved this type of thing. Like PlatinumGames, they have the credibility to do a Kickstarter as a bigger developer out there. But once again, it's going to be interesting just to see how many people, if it's PlayStation 4 owners or Xbox owners, want to actually back this. I know Nintendo fans are going to back this like crazy. I know I am. There's always people saying, hey, I'm going to throw some cash towards this, but they want to see what they're actually going to do. They want to see how much they're looking for. They want to see what the game is running in concept. There's so many ways to approach a Kickstarter, and there's right and wrong ways to do it. If they approach it with, hey, there's no footage, but this game is coming, I think it'll do okay. But if they actually have it going and have it running on a Nintendo Switch or a PlayStation 4, and they show footage, and they put together an amazing package when it comes to presentation the first time that we see it, it's so crucial to the success of Kickstarters. A lot of Kickstarters fail because they don't have enough content to show. They don't have enough to say, hey, this is what we're going to do with this product, even if it is a port or even if it's something that we've had before. So I think that I really hope that they really have a nice and good presentation when it comes to the first time that they reveal this, because that is so important. Some people will click over, and if it sucks or if it's not good enough, they'll never go back to it again and never give it a shot, even though it's really good. Even though they've added stuff and they've turned things around, some people just never go back to it. So first impressions are very, very important, especially with a title like the Wonderful 101. But myself, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be really cool. One of the best things about Wonderful 101, for those who have never played the game or don't really know much about it, is that it had this really in-depth combo system that was kind of hidden behind all of the gimmicks of the game, right? So you have stuff like you can draw on the Wii U gamepad different types of shapes to form your weapons that you hit people with, right? You can draw a squiggly line for a whip, and then bam, you use Wonder Pink's whip. Or you draw like a right angle for a gun, and bam, you have Wonder Green's gun, right? So it was really cool in that way. But you didn't need to use the gimmicks in terms of the Wii U gamepad. You can use a Wii U Pro controller and do the same thing on the right analog stick. So it really gave you the option of not being forced to play one way or another. You can play the way that you want to. The funny thing is that some reviewers didn't know that and just used the Wii U gamepad and hated it, but then later realized, oh snap, I can just use the Wii U Pro controller if I really wanted to, or just use the right analog stick. You don't have to use your finger to draw on the Wii U gamepad. You can use the right analog stick too. So I think it's going to be interesting to see how they show this one here. But the gameplay is really good. It's fun. It's in depth. There's a lot of content in there. There's replay value. It's a pretty long game. It's not short by any means. and I think that it would be a fantastic release on the Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, and any other systems that they decided to bring it out to. So what are you guys' thoughts when it comes to the Wonderful 101 potentially coming over to Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4 via Kickstarter? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. All right, guys, make sure you hit that like button if you did like this video, subscribe, share the video if you can, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, Nintendo gaming news, and so much more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.